So today in the shop, we have two interiors that we are working on. I get a lot of interior only details in the wintertime. It's either that or ceramic coatings. But I am actually very thankful that I'm able to stay busy in the winter. This vehicle, pretty straightforward. We're getting the vehicle ready for the customer to sell. So we need to do good vacuuming, extract our carpets and seats. We're gonna wipe down all of our plastics and glass. It's really not that bad on the interior. So this vehicle, it's a little bit worse for wear, but we're actually only shampooing the seats. That's actually a service that I recently added here at my shop. For those customers that maybe that's the priority for them. They just wanna sit in comfort in their seat. Maybe they have a limited budget, or maybe that's just all that they want done. I do offer that as a service. But for those of you that maybe you enjoy those interior detailing transformation videos, or maybe you want to learn how to tackle heavy soiling on seats, what chemicals, what tools and techniques I use to achieve the results I get from my customers. I've become known a little bit for my interior detailing, and it's not because I have some magical solutions. I have found products that work really well and work pretty quickly for me, but a lot of it just comes with knowing when to stop, when to keep going, how to get things dried out quickly, because wintertime, you're dealing with moisture that is not gonna wanna dry very easily. But let me share with you guys the condition of these seats and what techniques, tools, and chemicals we're gonna use to accomplish this job. Have a little bit of a different insert fabric, but it doesn't look like it's gonna be too aggressive, but this should definitely be a lighter color. We do have a lot of body oil, some dead skin cells, and just some stains in general. And oftentimes when you have a lot of dirt on your seats and then you spill something, this looks like a coffee spill, but maybe this was just heavily soiled and they spilled water. And then what happens is it takes all the dirt that's in your fabric and it pushes it out into a concentrated ripple, and you have a dirty ripple like this. Now, I know some of you get nervous about extraction and you say, especially in the winter time, just bonnet clean those. When you've got this level of soiling, bonnet cleaning is not going to give a true clean. Yes, it can kind of, I don't want to say trick the customer. It can make it look clean, but if they spill anything, it's going to basically wick all of that dirt that's beneath the surface that we didn't get, and it's going to just reactivate all of this old dirt and make it into that clean ripple. And we don't want that. We want to try to flush out as much of this dirty residue as possible. Because it is light though, we're probably going to be dealing with some wicking. We're probably going to go through quite a bit of water. We're going to use hot water with this. I know a lot of people like to use steam when we got heavy soiling, but when we're steaming these seats, one, we are injecting steam deep into the fabric. We're not pulling it out. So we're pushing dirt further in. And sometimes the steam actually scorches, burns the material. Two, it can set stains. If you use too high of a temperature and you can't regulate it, you can actually make the stain permanent. If you're using the wrong cleaner, especially. A lot of people like to use APCs or degreasers when they're dealing with stains like this. The wrong chemical, the wrong temperature that you clean these materials with can set the stain permanently and just make your job a lot harder. So hot water is more than sufficient to deep clean material like this. And we want a professional grade chemical. We're not doing a 2-step, we're not doing a 3-step. We are doing one chemical to clean all of this. Now, when we're done extracting, we're going to get our blowers on this, try to get it as dry as quickly as possible. That's going to help pull any wicking that's going to happen to the surface quickly versus me releasing it to the customer. They come out the morning after things are somewhat dry and then they're dealing with wicking. I want to treat it. I know I'm going to have it with this level of soiling. So get it dry as quickly as possible. And then we can use our spot stop, which is an acid rinse to basically surface clean any wicking that is going on. Now, we can keep cleaning, and sometimes you're just going to have more and more dirt coming out. So at some point, you got to know when to stop. We want to get to a point where our rinse water is for the most part clean, but you don't necessarily need it to be clear, okay? We're going to be using a solution that is an end cap solution that even if it dries on here, it will kind of help crystallize around the dirt, encapsulate the dirt, and then as they vacuum, it will continue to pull out dirt. That's why I use professional grade products like this. You can bonnet clean with it when you don't have as much soiling because it crystallizes around the dirt essentially. And then as you vacuum out any residue and dirt that's remaining, it will help brighten and pull that dirt out as you vacuum. But for this purpose, we're going to extract, and I'm going to share with you guys the chemical, the tools that we're going to use, and how we are hopefully going to get the results that the customer is going to be happy with. Now, we're not cleaning any of this. We're not cleaning our carpets. All we're doing is the seats, so just keep that in mind. This is a shampoo seats only service. Now, the chemical we're going to be using for today's extraction is Bonnet Pro Rocket Revive-It. This is an end-capped hydrogen peroxide citrus-based solution, and we're going to go very heavy this initial round. Now, I've said this before in videos, and some of you may not fully understand when I say when you're drill brushing, you should expect to see the level of clean that you're going to get after extraction simply with your agitation step. If you do not see a brightening effect going on, if you do not see a stain lifting or being eliminated, then either you need more chemical, more agitation, or change your chemical, because it's not going to be able to tackle it. So you might have to do multiple rounds. It doesn't mean that the chemical and the process isn't working. It just means that you got to work it a little bit longer. Sometimes that's where people are struggling to get the results because they quit too early. They stop too early and they're like, oh, that's as good as it can go. Maybe go another round. But yeah, you're going to saturate them. You want to get them dry afterwards. This is what I mean. After agitating, you can see our stain has lifted some. Now, I've done hundreds of vehicles over the years, and if I were to guess, this vehicle has been previously smoked in due to the brown that I'm pulling up out of these seats. Now, the customer had told me they purchased this used. The previous owner had only owned it for about a year, and they don't smoke. So if it was smoked in, this has been here for quite some time.
This is so satisfying.
I actually thought these seats were more of a gray. Turns out they're more of a blue-gray color. As we are rinsing all of that nicotine film or just brown residue off of the seats, you can see how much brighter they look. We do have some sagging of our fabric because it's just started to break down the foam underneath. So we do need to be careful with how much we saturate the material. But really, the only way to get all of this residue off is just to thoroughly rinse it until we have mostly clear water.
And here's one of the reasons why I love the Aqua Pro Vac. I can get in tight spaces really well with it. I would not be able to do this with my Mighty. It is big and bulky, that's why I sold it. And I also get edge-to-edge cleaning. Water goes all the way to the edge. I don't have to lift it and spray it.
Now, whenever I'm extracting, I always start off by doing the front seat first. That way I don't have water dripping on the back seat if I've already cleaned that. And I will start from the top and then work my way down. Once I get down to the lower seat, we'll do the perimeter of that and then work our way into the middle of the seat. And because this insert fabric is a little thicker, you want to make sure you extract in multiple directions so that as things dry, you don't have lines from your extractor.
Look at the line.
Now, this is where some people might say we can stop. It looks clean. We've gotten a majority of the dirt out. But once things dry, you'll notice that it still kind of has a soiled appearance. We want to keep going.
This is where we respray our chemical, but we don't have to give it as much dwell time because I want that chemical right on the surface, and we're going to agitate and let our foam lift the dirt to the surface. Feel that foam? I didn't have that kind of the first time.
Now, obviously, we have more foam because we have a wet base. But when you have that foam, and you do want some foam with your cleaners, you don't want a ton of foam because then you're just going to be chasing residue. But when you have a low foam residue like this, what that foam is going to do is lift dirt to the surface with the foam, and you're going to get a deeper cleaning. You'll see that our fabric even looks more bright. This was our before, and this is our after. Now, it will get even brighter once things dry, and that's where we'll really know what kind of results we were able to get. Now, normally, I don't need to go a third time with extracting. It's very rare when we've got severe wicking, or maybe they spilled an entire 2 liters of soda or a pitcher of coffee. But a lot of these spills are just from a lot of soil, body oils that have been there for a while, and then they spilled maybe water, or maybe they got into the car with a bathing suit on and they were wet, and it just made a clean ripple. By extracting all of this dirty residue out, if they get in the future with wet clothes, maybe they open their door in a rainy situation, or they spill water on the seat,
we shouldn't have to deal with that dirty ripple reappearing on the seats, because now we flushed out all of the dirty residue. We do want to pay special attention to our seams and realize that sometimes the soil can be removed, but stains can be permanent. So once you understand how to identify when a stain is set, that there's really not much that you can do to remove it. You don't want to keep chasing it where you potentially burn or scorch the fabric, because I've seen some people agitate too heavily that you end up actually damaging the fabric. So using a white drill brush, I find, is more than stiff but gentle enough on these fabrics that it's not going to scorch it, and it gives us a really nice deep clean result.
Not a ton of suds, which is what I like to see. You don't want high foaming products, but we do have some foam. Take a look at that. That sediment is all the sand and dirt and dust that was just sitting in those seats.
Now, because this vehicle was smoked in, we're going to also extract our sides of our seats, the backs, as well as the headrest completely. But if we're dealing with light soils, you can just get by with doing the fronts where people sit. Now, I can tell there's been some trauma that's happened on this back seat. As I'm spraying with my chemical, it's reactivating every old spill. Now, as we're agitating, it's showing me what is kind of soiling that we're going to be able to extract. Anything that's not really lifting is probably going to be a stain and permanent damage. Another reason why I believe this vehicle was smoked in is because our seat belts actually have a brownish residue to them. That's normally an indicator of nicotine residue. But we want to make sure that because the vehicle was smoked in, because our seat belts are going to be on a wet surface, that we also extract our seat belts, so that way as they dry on our wet back, we don't have even more wicking from the seat belt actually leaching all of the residue onto the fabric. We do also, it looks like, have a spill that's happened down this side seat, and it's actually down the seat. Now, I don't pull seats out. Fortunately, though, the Aqua Pro Vac head is small enough that I can actually get it down the sides of the seats to try to get up as much of the spill that has occurred. But you just need to make sure when you're going over old spills, just check for wicking. That's that brown residue that's kind of deep within the fabric that as things dry, just know those might be problem areas that you need to focus on to treat for wicking in the future. Even though we did have to go very heavy with extraction due to the severity of the tannin stains, I did go over them with just the section near the end many times. One, to try to pull out as much liquid as possible, but make sure you're observing your water that's coming up. That's going to tell you how much soiling is left behind. If you're still seeing brown or orange residue coming up, extract more. But if you're seeing mostly clear solution coming up, you know you've gotten most of the dirt up, you should be good to go. Even though the customer says they don't smoke in the vehicle, would you say this vehicle has been smoked in? Comment down below.
Also, just know if you're gonna do interiors, find a good chiropractor, because your back it's gonna hurt.
I'm pretty sure we saved the best for last. There are some major spills and stains on this section. We're going to repeat the same process that we've done for all of the other sections and then get our blowers on this seat. Now, because it is wintertime, the biggest issue that we have to deal with is condensation on our glass. Because we're using hot water, there's quite a bit of moisture and humidity on the inside of the vehicle, and then we've got cold air on the outside. It can lead to condensation, and actually sometimes it can lead to ice on the inside of the glass for the customer if the customer parks their vehicle outside. But that's why it's really important to try to get the interior as dry as possible before you release it to the customer. Even if they're slightly damp, if they park their vehicle outdoors in the morning, they might notice there is condensation and sometimes even ice if it's super cold outside. So what I like to do is, one, get the blowers on the seats. These should actually be dry in about an hour or two. You can also, if the vehicle has gas, pull the vehicle outside, turn the heat on high to help accelerate dry time. Now, this vehicle was actually on E, so I did not have gas to be able to turn the heat on to let their heat accelerate the dry time, but we were able to use our blowers at the end to get everything, for the most part, fully dry. But we did let the customer know, just give yourself time in the morning to defrost your glass. That's probably the only issue they're going to have to deal with. But you can get really great results with these products. Just make sure you get it dry. And then if there's any wicking, we'll share with you guys a chemical at the very end, how to deal with wicking. But fortunately for us, there really wasn't a lot of wicking that we had to deal with because we were able to get a majority of the spills and tannin off of these seats. Now, to get our seats dry, I'm using the dry pod blower. You can connect up to 5 in tandem, and in under 2 hours, we were able to get these seats fully dry. If we did have any wicking, we would use spot stop at the end to just spot treat, but fortunately, they all came out clean and look great.
So it took a little over 2 hours for us to extract these seats. They were just that bad, but I think we were able to get really nice results for the customer. The interior is not perfect. We still have a lot of dirt on our plastics and on our carpets, but for most people, that might be all that they really need to worry about, is just what they're sitting in. They want to maybe be comfortable in their seats. Plastics, all of those other things, maybe they can fine-tune themselves. But one, that's a great service to offer customers if maybe they're on a little bit more of a budget. Was $150 for us to do this service today. 2, for those that maybe they just have a spill or a mess that they need to clean up. It's a great way for you to continue to get revenue in your business, offer something to customers, and be a little bit more budget friendly. So hopefully this helps some of you guys out that maybe you're a professional detailer, especially wintertime, looking to stay busy. If you offer this as a service to customers, hopefully with these chemical and tool recommendations, you're going to be able to very quickly get exceptional results for your customers, and you too can tackle this. I feel like you guys give me a lot more credit than is due. It really comes down to having the right tools in your arsenal. Guys, it's not that hard. It just takes a little bit of knowledge, elbow grease, back pain, and you can get great results for your customers. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, make sure you comment down below, give us a thumbs up, and hit that notify bell off to the side so that way you don't miss out on any of our future videos. But we're going to get started on this interior now. But thanks guys for watching. We'll see you in the next detail.
In 2 hours' time, we were able to remove stains that have been there for almost 18 years. It may not be perfect, but it's a heck of a lot better. Stay tuned for more winter detailing transformations and tips, but we'll see you guys in the next detail.